Good evening, America. Cape Pixie Radio, the only nuclear-powered radio station on God's green earth. Tonight, I'm taking on a subject that bothers me so bad. It's about this. Some parents believe that their gay child can be converted back to being butch or whatever. And there's a cabal of wealthy Christians behind this whole game. Therapists say that if you send them to a camp and let them be indoctrinated back to reality, they'll come back, acting butch and not the little effeminate male you sent down there. I don't know if it works for women too, but they've got this whole program. Mike Pence is behind it, by the way, of these rich, white Christian people who want their kids to be not gay. Let us review, shall we? Mommy egg, daddy sperm. When they collide, the combination of the mommy and the daddy's genetic makeup is what the content of this child will be. So, say mommy gives too many mommy genes and daddy gives too few, you're going to get a gay child, or however it occurred. The point is, some people believe that it's the devil's work and that he turns people gay. Please, let us get our bodies into the 23rd century. Now, sometimes these subjects are so boring that you lose people in the way. So I decided I'm going to do a little bit of a pantomime. I'm going to do a little bit of a over-the-top broadcasting to try to get home to the point of this. When the mommy egg is fertilized by the papa, a nuclear explosion occurs in a billionth of a nanosecond. It goes like this. First, it wasn't that it is. His genes, her genes, go together and they make a child. And it gestates in the womb for 9 months. And whatever is transmitted in that gene package tells you what your child is going to be. The skills of the father and the grandfather, or the lack of the skills of the parents. One way or the other is giving you the basic DNA that when you come out of the womb after 9 months of gestation, you are made in the shade. You come wholly prepared to what you're going to be. And it's all about the genes that you were given by your parents. Someone didn't come along and say, well, I'm going to turn him gay. You can't be turned gay. Gay is not a disease. It is nature. Did you ever see 2 leaves on a tree that are perfect? No. You think they are, but look closely. Look at your own body. It is not perfect. It's left side's bigger than the other. Your arm, your eye, everything. Look at it. So when you think that you can alter this genetic package that you receive from both parents, you are disturbed. Not only that, you're bringing up false hope for these people who think that their child is going to come back from the gay camp acting like Chuck Norris. When he went away, you would always be the guy in the room and say, oh, we're going to discuss what we're going to do with the room. I'll bring swatches. I mean, you had hints that he was lighting the loafers or whatever you want to call it. You cannot change it. So I'm going to try an over-the-top exercise. And I'm going to become Colonel Stimmt on from the Wehrmacht. Yes, we are the gay Nazis. We believe in, you want to send your children to a camp and have them indoctrinated? We tried it with the Jews, on the Gypsies, on everyone else. It did not work. If it did not work for us, then how do you expect it to work for you? And we didn't have God on our side. We said, oh, these old-fashioned doctors and scientists, they don't want to experiment. We'll experiment with everything. We'll experiment to see if break someone's leg and put a piece of plastic in there and see if it knits with the bone. And we had lots of mistakes, let's say this, but we had camps too. Before you send your child off to send to a camp and think he's going to come back ungay, you're mad. Mad as we were back then. Well, now you see, I have reformed myself. I am now a gay Nazi. I don't believe in, I like discipline still, but I don't believe in hurting anybody. You see what I'm saying? I just want to be happy, and you should be happy. But you're going to kill your child. In fact, he comes back from the camp, he's depressed. He was promised the world. Mike Pence's friends took 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 from you and said the treatment would be pristine. And when they come back, they would be butch, very butch, do manly things. No, this is not the truth. They know nothing. Okay, so you can get it. I hope that the humor, my humor, made an impression, because for God's sake, these young people are killing themselves. They're just broken down from the demands of the belligerent religious freak that tells a parent, I can make your son straight. Holy God Almighty. I'm going to sing you a song tonight because my doctor called me. I've told you this 1,000 times, but I'm telling you straight tonight. I contracted Parkinson's disease. And I found out also today that all of my years of trying to understand Parkinson's disease, I thought it was a genetic disorder like everything else, but it turns out it's not. It is the constant exposure to toxic chemicals in our world, in our lives. That's what it is. So it's like 90% that, and the other part is genetic. Like if you're locked in a cabin for 5,000 years in the snow, like your ancestors were in the caves, they would get a little edgy with each other, being in the cave for 8 or 9 months, wouldn't they? They'd start to say, familiarity breeds contempt, and they were right, because today we call it cabin fever. But there's a bigger fever going on around here, and it's the fever that tells you, I'm going to make my son butch, and he's going to be lovely, and he's going to like women. He was issued a package, a genetic package from his parents and God. That's the only thing you're missing here. God doesn't do wrong stuff. He makes imperfect, yeah, but he doesn't do wrong, which means you don't come along and right the wrong. It's not right. It's appalling that you do this in the name of God or Jesus or anyone else, that you do it in your God's name. Oh, God doesn't think this is, I've read it in the, God made you and me. God gave us the miracle to sense and sing and dance. He didn't do it for cows and sheep. Have you ever watched like 2 alligators or 2 lions going, well, look, Ron, we better store some of this meat for the future. They live in the now, and we better live in the now, because these children, thoroughly depressed from believing that they were going to get turned straight, and they come back and the parents are disappointed and they spend 50 grand. But you know what? The people who took the money are so cynical, they know that in a little while you can run the same scam and parents will do it again. A lot of them have learned a lesson. I must say, I know a few who finally found out that their son is never going to become anything other than he is, that God made, that God Don't tell me you can alter the work of God. Don't tell me you're a mad scientist like the ones you accuse of, oh, you can't mess with a genetic disorder. You're trying to say that you can conjure up hocus pocus, magic spells. You can turn a kid back to being normal from being gay. God. I have nothing but contempt for you people who continue to perpetrate this awful, vile lie. These people are under emotional pressure. And even if they survive suicide, there's a stigma of society that says there's something wrong with them. Well, they didn't do it. God made all of us. He made this whole thing. Anyway, now I'm getting heavy. It's too much. God bless you. Smoke 'em if you got 'em.